Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice of Radio. So today we're in a pretty interesting situation. Mega Revolution has just come out. It's the first set in the Mega Revolution block. It is frankly a pretty big deal. But on the horizon, we've got Phantasmal Flames. And with the Japanese equivalent Inferno X out now, we kind of know pretty much everything we need to know about the set. So we need to ask the question of, well, hang on a second, which one of these two sets is the best? Or is the answer actually neither of them, because the set before Mega Revolution was in fact Destined Rivals, and Destined Rivals was a beast of a set. Yeah, that's right. It's time for one of those videos where we put the last three sets together and we ask the question, which one of these is most deserving of your time, your attention, and let's face it, your money. And we might as well start off where we were with Destined Rivals. Make no mistake about it, Destined Rivals is a fantastic set. It's got one of the biggest cards in the entirety of the Scarlet and Violet era, in that Team Rocket's Mewtwo, which has been actually kind of steadily climbing quite nicely. It's now rocking up at about a $500 card. This is one of the very biggest cards in the entirety of the Scarlet and Violet era. It really is that big of a card. But if we're looking purely from a value standpoint, it is not alone in that regard. Now, don't get me wrong, it's the biggest by a mile. But the Garchomp's sitting there rocking $300, that is not to be sniffed at. Ethan's Ho-Oh is sitting there at about $230, somewhere in that region. These are three gigantic cards. Even the Team Rocket's Moltres is sitting there at like $160, and the Nidoking's sitting there at like $130. And for some sets, they would be the biggest cards in the set, value-wise. And as it is, they're sitting there at 4 and 5, because there's three massive cards in this set. From a value, artwork, collectability standpoint, Destined Rivals is a great set. From a playability standpoint, it is a disappointing set. I don't think there's any other way to phrase it. Where we are at the moment, this set gave us like Marnie's Grimmsnarl. And to be fair, that is a top 6 deck. Marnie's Grimmsnarl is a good deck. Top 6 in the metagame right now, although because it came out in its own deck, there aren't any other versions of that card, and you can just buy the deck, you don't even have to go and pick up the set. So, yeah. Playability-wise, this set gave us very little. I mean, Ethan's Typhlosion had a go. And to be fair, with the advent of Mega Revolution, Cynthia's Garchomp is actually turning into a legit deck. But it took another set to make it into a legit deck, so I don't really know what we want to do about that. There's rumours even that with some new cards, Team Rocket's Mewtwo is suddenly a much better deck than it was before. But up until now, we've basically had Marnie's Grimmsnarl and like a cameo from Ethan's Ho-Oh, which did weirdly get top 32 at Worlds this year, despite not seeming like a very good deck at all. So, where we sit with Destined Rivals is collectability, redonkulous set. But in terms of playability, little bit meh. Now, if we move on to Mega Evolution, from a collectability standpoint, yeah, Mega Evolution's got it going on. Like, it's still early right now, so things can change, prices can go down, I get that. But we've got the two gold cards that are like $500 to $600 cards. They are absolutely massive. And yes, I know there was a $500 card in Destined Rivals, but there's only the one and it took a little while to get there. So I think this is kind of winning in that regard. But then even outside the two gold cards, we've got the Gardevoir that's about $300, the Mega Lucario that's about $300, and then the Venusaur and Latias are about $200. Venusaur's probably nearer $220, and then Lily's Determination sitting there at like $175. This is a big set for value, and pre-Destined Rivals, a lot of sets just weren't. And I know I'm giving you two in a row here, which are full of big cards. I'm sorry, that's just where we are. It is a very big set in terms of value. It is absolutely, and I mean absolutely, making waves. What's it given us in terms of playability, though? Well, it's a weird kind of a set, right? Because in terms of absolute brand new decks, not that much. Like, Mega Lucario is the best deck from Mega Revolution. Mega Lucario's legit. But that's about the best I can give you. The thing is, we've got the new Lunatone, which is making all fighting decks just way better. And then things like Premium Power Pro is also helping out massively. And Fight Gong is actually also helping out massively. So fighting decks have all gotten a bunch better. But it's not really from necessarily the new big cards. There's a bunch of trainers helping out. And those same cards have made Cynthia's Garchomp quite a lot better, although still not making that many waves competitively over in Japan. It's very much a kind of a fringe deck. And there's an argument that playability, it's actually below Destined Rivals, because Destined Rivals had Grimmsnarl, and Grimmsnarl is better than Lucario, at least as we look at it at the moment. So better in terms of value, probably about on par in terms of everything else. Okay. But that still probably makes it better than Destined Rivals, at least for the time being. Which is kind of interesting. So what about then this new set, Phantasmal Flames? Well, again, it's worth pointing out that as it stands at the moment, this set's only out in Japan. All I can do is tell you about the Japanese prices. But what we can do is compare the Japanese prices of this to the Japanese prices of the Mega Evolution equivalent. It's even bigger again. From everything we can see, from all the fancy predictions we can make, looking at Japanese data and so on, the Gold Charizard is, and I mean this, significantly more expensive than either of the gold cards in Mega Revolution, like massively so, like 60-70% higher. And the Special Illustration Rare Charizard is significantly higher, and I mean about 50% higher, than any Special Illustration Rare in Mega Revolution. And it's weird because the other really big card in the set is the Oricorio, but of course the Oricorio is actually being taken out of the set so that it can be used as a promo in the Mega Charizard EX Super Premium Collection. Mega Charizard X EX Super Premium Collection. So, in a weird kind of way, Pokemon have gone and hurt the value of the set by taking the third biggest card out of it, but you've got the two Charizard. And it's a weird thing because I think if you go for like the number of cards, like we're now stuck with Special Illustration Red Dawn and Full Art Charizard, which are decent cards, but they're not like proper game-changing. But well, nah, to be fair, they're both kind of higher than Lucario in Japan, the Special Illustration Rare. So I don't know, maybe that's enough. There are some decent Tier 2 cards in the set, Dawn and Full Art Charizard. But I need to stress how big those two Charizard cards are going to be. They're going to be huge. So there's a strong argument that although the set isn't as deep as something like Mega Revolution, and it's not, especially when you've taken out the third biggest card in the set, I'm not sure it really matters, because the high end of the set, oh my word, is it high end. It's huge. But for the third set in a row, we're basically doing the same thing. It's a very big card collection-wise. But playability, I still don't expect this to be a particularly great set. Now, it is worth pointing out it is early in Japan right now. It is very early in Japan right now in terms of the set as a whole. That is very important to point out. But like, Ceruledge is one of the big winners in the set. But Ceruledge, it's basically, we've got Lunatone, which actually, to be fair, Lunatone's in Mega Revolution. It's not in Phantasmal Flames. And then you've got that Heat Burner card that lets you discard a fire energy to get rid of a special energy tool or stadium, which, to be fair, is phenomenal in Ceruledge decks because it's discarding energy, which you absolutely definitely want to do, while also giving you some really nice disruption in that you can get rid of stadium, special energy tools, etc. So it's a great card, and it is absolutely helping Ceruledge become a way, way, way better deck. But it's still a little bit like, that's not exactly a new deck from this set. It's just, it got some cool stuff in Mega Revolution. It got some more cool stuff in Phantasmal Flames. And then you add that all up together. And now, to be fair, we're not talking about an okay deck here. According to data coming out of Japan, and this is constantly changing and all of that, but like right now, this is trending as the number 4 deck with like 9% of the metagame. So, yeah, we're in a weird situation here. From a competitive standpoint, none of these 3 sets are actually that big competitively. When we look at the metagame right now and we look at the best decks, it's still like Golden Go, Dragapult, Gardevoir. These decks that have been around forever. And from these last 3 sets, it is actually Marnie's Grimmsnarl, which remains the biggest deal from the last 3 sets. And there's a bunch of, techs and all of that, and cards that are seeing play, but they're going to be these little cards that you can pick up pretty cheaply as singles, so they're not really a reason to open a bunch of the set. So, with that borne in mind, we kind of have to sit here and go, well, alright then. It's kind of down to value, in which case it's cascading up. So I suppose the answer essentially is, if you really like the theming of the Team Rocket set, then Destined Rivals is the one for you. If you want to go for breadth of hits, then Mega Revolution is where we're going to be looking. But if you're looking for the biggest hits around, well, you need to be going for Phantasmal Flames. So there we go. There's your conclusion. That's what you need to know. And now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about all of this in the comment section. Get us! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at Lawasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And get shout-outs on the channel, like the lovely Star of Dav, who's been a supporter of ours for a long time now and seems to be a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.